this little spinny thing, so I'm not sure if I'm live yet. So I'm going to wait till I see the little live icon on the screen. There we go. So this is the second recording. I'm reading my book, Loving Life, All of It, A Walk with Cancer, Compassion, and Consciousness. And it is a book written several years ago. But the lessons that I learned through both of my journeys with breast cancer continue to influence me every day. And it's really prepared me for this time that we're in. And I wanted to just take this opportunity and read this book in sections here on Facebook for those who are interested. The book is available. It's on iTunes and Amazon as a download. It's also on my website, lovinglifebook.com, if you want to read ahead. And in the meantime, we are on the section called Reflections. My guiding theme for life has always been everything happens for a reason. These words resonate deeply as I reflect upon being adopted by parents who were both music teachers, who lovingly and unconditionally nurtured me from 1 month of age. Growing up Roman Catholic, with a solid foundation from which to awaken my deep spiritual connection within myself. Numerous artistic opportunities, such as dance, theater, music, and pageants, giving me the confidence to speak and perform in front of people. Graduating from Indiana University with a degree in telecommunications rather than music. Meeting, following my heart, and marrying my soulmate, John, despite our 25-year age difference. Becoming a mother to our firstborn, Christopher. Having a miscarriage 2 years later. And then giving birth to our second son, Justin, during a very stressful time in our marriage. I mentioned this brief biographical information. I mentioned this brief biographical information because each and every experience in my life influenced how I walked my journey with breast cancer. My cancer diagnosis was an opportunity to awaken and align with my past experiences with a new paradigm, a fresh perspective, and a renewed connection to my purpose. It didn't happen overnight. Preparation for my journey with cancer began years before my diagnosis. Actually, it feels as if I've been preparing to walk this path my whole life. The heading, Searching for Something. I have spent many years searching for that something that I thought would help me feel whole and complete. There always seemed to be a longing, a questioning of, is this it? And a feeling that the grass must be greener on the other side. What was I missing? Why didn't I feel full and complete? I couldn't describe it with words, but I could feel it, whatever it was. It was during this quest that I met my future husband, John, a gifted visionary and creative genius. He had contracted our musical group for a corporate event called A Night Under the Stars. Our connection was immediate. Although my mind could not make sense of it, my heart knew that my life was changed forever. When I met John, he was in the midst of a spiritual awakening that had started in 1985. His search for answers to the questions, why am I here? What's the purpose of my life? How do I find my way out of this uncertainty and fear? Led him deep within himself. We both seemed to be searching for answers. Up until this point in my life, I had never questioned the difference between religion and spirituality. For me, they were one and the same. After meeting John and engaging in numerous mind and heart expanding conversations, I could see there was a great deal of difference between the two. I began to understand that religion is an organized system of belief in and worship of God or gods, while spirituality is relating to the soul or spirit of the divine influence working in the human heart. It was difficult at first to separate these concepts, but eventually I came to realize that I was embarking on a deep, personal, spiritual quest to awaken my connection to the divine within my heart. No longer was God something outside of me, but rather an inside connection that I desired to awaken. I was on a journey to awaken the divine love within me, the I am presence of God, Spirit, universal life force, creator, or whatever word you feel comfortable using to describe that indescribable essence of love. I was now consciously on a path that philosophers and religious leaders have written about for centuries. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. God is love. Whoever lives in love, lives in God, and God in him. 1 John 4:16. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakens. Carl Jung. The only journey is the one within. Rainer Maria Rilke. Sorry if I mispronounced that name. And knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Aristotle. Next section. A brief introduction to the origin process. John's quest for answers came in the form of profound mystical explorations and journeys with compassionate spirit guides who showed him fascinating and wondrous places of experiential learning beyond our physical realm. And I just want to insert now, this book was written about 10 years ago, 12 years ago. No, I was diagnosed in 2010. So about 8 years ago. And this was our understanding at that time. Over the last several years, it's really become apparent that all of this is what John has remembered within himself. It's nothing outside. It's something that was deep within that awakened. Within these dreamlike travels, John was never given answers. Rather, he was given opportunities to experience profound lessons that awakened ancient knowledge held deep within his soul. John's gift to this world is to bring forth and share insights and knowledge from these travels. One of my blessings is to live with this gifted man and share in his explorations. One day, as I was helping John clean his apartment, I found a journal full of scribbles and archetypical symbols in his desk drawer. "What's this?" I asked curiously. "Oh, it's from one of those crazy dreams," he replied. I continued prodding him with questions. He eventually revealed the origin of the scribbles. It came from a book he copied after waking up from one of his dreams. In the dream, he had witnessed a beautiful ceremony in a place called the Sanctuary of Universal Light. And one of his guides specifically told him, "Remember this. Remember this." Finding this handwritten journal was the first step in the development and manifestation of what we now call the origins process, a system of self-discovery that is directly related to the ceremony John witnessed in his dreams. The origins process was and continues to be a spiritual compass for me and many others on our spiritual quest to awaken the divine within. And there's a more in-depth exploration in Appendix 1 of this book. The next section, New Love, Awaken to Yourself. As a classically trained harpist, I never considered the healing aspect of music until 1982. Maybe it was 1987. When a close family friend was going through hospice care during her personal experience with cancer. I recorded my first cassette tape, Reflections, for Pat to use during her guided visualization. Marjorie, another friend, noted she could see Pat's body physically relax as the music played. Something ignited within me when I learned of how the music had physically affected Pat, and I knew my relationship with music was changing. Then, in 1997, my father was diagnosed with prostate cancer. I remember how the cassette tape Reflections had helped Pat relax and wanted to record something special for my dad. I recorded the CD, New Love, Awaken to Yourself, to help him relax and heal after surgery. For this CD, I recorded gentle New Age piano melodies rather than familiar contemporary or classical pieces with which my father may have prior memories or associations that would hinder his relaxation. There was something very healing about this CD, and when others listened to it, they shared their stories of increased sleep, decreased use of medication, and even family pets staying calm during thunderstorms. I'm happy to report that my father enjoyed listening to the CD as it helped him relax and heal comfortably after surgery. And I'm very happy to report that he is alive and doing well today. The New Age piano solos on the New Love CD awakened a slumbering giant within me. The music's rhythmic structure felt natural and freeing. The melodies soothed my soul. I felt a different connection to this music, and my mind wanted to know why. During this time, my husband had serendipitously met a woman at a corporate meeting event and invited her and her husband over to our house. As we began talking, I realized that meeting this couple was not an accident. It was part of my life's tapestry. Their names were Chris and William Collins, PhD. Dr. Collins, a psychologist and neurotherapist, was intrigued when we shared stories with him about how the New Love CD was affecting others. He offered to conduct a pilot study to further explore the impact of this music on brainwave frequencies as people listen to the music. The pilot study he conducted using quantitative EEG to measure brainwave frequencies of 4 individuals indicated the new Love CD induced a state of relaxation in only 4 minutes by decreasing the beta wave frequency and increasing the alpha wave frequency of the brain. In other words, the music was relaxing and calming the brain in 4 minutes. And here's a little graph of the, whoops, this is the alpha wave frequency increase, backwards, frequency increasing. Dr. Collins had never seen or used one piece of music that had this type of impact on such a varied population. The pilot study led us to hypothesize that if we could relax and calm the brain in 4 minutes, perhaps we could impact the immune system in a positive way. Since I had initially recorded New Love for my father, who was diagnosed with prostate cancer, cancer seemed to be the obvious place to start. So we decided that women would be more likely to listen to music than men, and we arbitrarily chose women with breast cancer as our target population. We designed follow-up studies that eventually led to the formation of the Scientific Arts Foundation. And so I'll conclude today's video there, and I will continue reading in the next video. Thank you for joining me.